Hi guys, welcome to What Was Mommy Thinking? My name's Crystal and I'm a full-time working mom of 3 incredible boys, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around so you don't miss any of the fun. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being back with me today, and I thought I would do it a little different this week. So today is the day that I start filming my Set Yourself Up for Success video that I try to post every Monday. That's got a little bit of meal prep and setting yourself up for success that way, and then maybe a little bit of cleaning too, so that your home is set up for success as well. So I thought I would show you guys how I start out, and that is Saturday morning. I sit down with my cup of coffee and my notepad, and I start making a list of all of the things that I need to meal prep, because Saturday is our big meal prep day. So as you can see here, I've got to make my son's bread, his low sodium tuna salad, his decaffeinated sweet tea, and then I'm going to boil eggs, make oatmeal, egg frittatas, ranch dip. I already made some of this, but I'm going to make some more. And all that this is non-fat plain Greek yogurt with dry Hidden Valley Ranch dressing mix, and it is fantastic. If you're on Weight Watchers, it ends up being 1 point for a quarter cup, and it's really, really good. I'm going to have to thin it out a little bit to use it as a salad dressing, but it works perfect as a dip. Then we've got sodium-free ketchup, which is something that I need to make for my son. I'm going to make homemade refried beans and homemade Spanish rice. And I may not get these done today because they're for dinner on Tuesday, but I will get those made. Then tuna salad is half of my lunch meal prep for this week. The other half is going to be the ham that you saw in my grocery haul with those Ole wraps, because that's kind of been one of my favorite lunches. I need to make some cold brew. I am completely out, and that is disastrous, but we'll get that done. Then I need to prep our protein snack boxes. These things have been an absolute lifesaver, and it made me so happy to get feedback that a couple of you guys might be trying that this week. Then I've got to make rice, and I probably won't do this until Tuesday or Wednesday. It has to be refrigerated for at least 24 hours before I can make my fried rice. Then I need to make my oatmeal, cream pies that I want to surprise my son with, and I'm going to use his leftover sodium-free bread to make him some croutons for salad. So in addition to that, I've just got a couple of little errands down here. I do need to go to Winco to get that romaine lettuce that we talked about, and bananas that were unable to be picked up in my grocery haul. My husband and I tend to go late when nobody's there because they are open 24 hours. So we'll try and get that done sometime this weekend. And then I've got some donations that need to be dropped off. So this is how I start Saturday. This is how I start my Set Yourself Up for Success. I will do the same thing tomorrow morning for my cleaning for the day to help get my house ready. And this is how we get going. So with that being said, let's get at it. Come along and let's have some fun. Okay guys, really quickly, I know you saw on the list one of our favorite things to make every week. Pardon the Instant Pot going in the background, deliciousness happening there. But one of the most important things that we make every week are our protein snack boxes. And if you guys have watched the last couple of weeks, mine is a little bit different from my husband's because he gets more point than I do. So we'll dive into mine really quick. This is 1 tablespoon of that Greek yogurt and dry ranch dressing mix. That comes out to 0 points. A Laughing Cow cheese wedge, which is 1 point, and boiled egg, which is 2. Broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, and celery, all of that is nothing. And then 6 Triscuit thins for 1 point, which brings my grand total for this whole box up to 4 points. I did not put any beef jerky in my boxes this week. I'm not sure if I'll go back and add that or not. Right now, I'm really happy with it the way that it is. This is my husband's box. He gets the same veggies, the same ranch dip, but he gets a serving of cashews, which comes out to about 16 whole cashews for 5 points, a boiled egg for 2, his Laughing Cow cheese for 1, and then he gets 3 turkey sticks that I cut in half so that they would actually fit in the box, and that is 3 points. So he's got an 11-point box here, and we each have 4 of these for the week. Okay guys, I've had some questions about how we do our boiled eggs. This is a little dash machine. You can get them that does a single layer, and I think it does 6 or 7 eggs, or you can get the 2-tier that does a dozen. So I've got this one. I've had it for several years. I got it on Amazon. I think it was somewhere around $20 or $25. It does a dozen eggs at one time in about 10 minutes, and when they're done, they peel perfectly. Timer goes off. I usually just shut it off and let it cool down in there. It has a little cup that you measure how much water you want in there, and it's got little lines, I know you guys can't see that say like hard boiled, medium boiled, soft boiled, and then over here is if you're doing poached or an omelet, and it comes with a little tray for those things. But anyways, this is my second dash. I had one that was 1-tiered. We loved it so much that we got this one and gave the 1-tiered to my mom. So this will get us through at least the first part of the week. Okay guys, I just wanted to do a super quick check-in with you. We are making lots and lots of progress here today. I'm gonna do a couple more things for today, and then I'm gonna call it quits. So the frittatas are almost done, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that crossed off. And then as far as the ketchup, I am short an ingredient, so I have to wait on that one. The beans, the rice, and the other rice are going to be later this week because I don't need them until later in the week, but I'm gonna go ahead and make my cold brew for the week, and I am going to make the croutons, and then tomorrow I will do my son's bread, and I'm hoping to get to these special treats that are a surprise for him. So I just wanted to check in super quick, and I will touch base with you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so we're going to do this homemade ketchup recipe. So this is one that I have never made before. This is new, and as I told you guys before, it's because I'm unable to find the ketchup that we normally buy my son, and I did order some and pay too much for it the last time, but we have depleted the pantry stock, and I just decided, kind of like everything else that I make, that there's got to be a way to make this myself. So I found a recipe, and what it calls for is to heat up 2 tablespoons of olive oil, dice up a medium onion, and get that going over medium-high heat for about 8 minutes until it's translucent. Then you're going to add in some garlic and let that go for a couple of minutes, and then you're going to add in some of the other ingredients. So what you see me doing now is going ahead and prepping the other ingredients. I didn't have whole tomatoes. I tried at 3 different stores. I could not find whole tomatoes with no salt added. So I'm going to use a can of crushed tomato that are no salt added, and then some tomato paste. And I know you guys hear me talk about these amazing measuring cups and spoons every time I do a cooking video. But another thing that I love about them is that the measuring spoons are completely flat on the bottom. So you can put your prep ingredients and stuff in them pre-measured and sit them down on your surface there. I've just got them on the cutting board so that as you're ready to add them in, you're ready to go. And so that's what I'm doing here, is just kind of pre-measuring everything out, and then I just set it over on my little cutting board until it's time for it to go in. The list of ingredients on this, like I said, was kind of long, and it has molasses, brown sugar, garlic, onion, apple cider vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, chili powder, ground ginger, allspice, and cinnamon. So there is a ton of flavors in this. And the way that this works is you just go ahead and get the onions translucent, add the garlic, put that in for a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna add in the crushed tomatoes, the tomato paste, and then we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients. And so what it says is to bring it to a boil, and then reduce the heat and let it simmer for 45 to 55 minutes, which I did. And then once that's all done, you're going to use either a blender or, and I screw this name up, guys, so many times. It's an immersion blender, and I always say emulsion blender, so forgive me. I'm sure you're going to hear that here in the next segment where I say it the incorrect way. But you get everything together, you cook it, and it's supposed to thicken up as it cooks. So what did surprise me is that traditional ketchup is full of sugar, and this really didn't have any added sugar to it. I mean, the molasses, yes, but as far as regular table sugar, it didn't really have any added sugar in it, and I was quite impressed by that. So we're just gonna let it cook and let it reduce down and thicken up, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, you guys, while we're waiting, pardon my stuff there, while we're waiting on the ketchup to finish simmering, we're gonna go ahead and really quickly make these croutons. This is the leftover bread from my son's homemade loaf last week. We typically don't keep it more than a week just because then it'll go bad and we'll be forced to throw it out. So because I'm making him a fresh loaf today for this coming week, we're gonna make sodium-free croutons with this stuff. So all I did was chop up what was left, and we're gonna drizzle it with some olive oil. And again, just like with some of my other dishes, I like to keep one hand clean and one hand dirty so that I can touch the oil if I need more, and the spice jar if I need more, and all of that. So I've got some Italian seasoning, and it has no sodium in it, so that is always a good thing. We're gonna sprinkle some of that in there. And he likes a lot of flavor in his croutons. Some people do, some people don't. Some people just like toasted bread, but because we have, and this is just garlic powder, because we have tomato soup on the recipe this week with grilled cheese, it's always good to have croutons to throw on top of your tomato soup, right? So I'm gonna dig in here with my left hand and start zhishing around. I already can tell that I'm gonna need more oil, and I try to be careful not to like crumble them or break them apart, which is really easy to do. So I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit more oil on it. If you have a full loaf of bread, I think the oil comes out to about 1/3 of a cup or 1/4 of a cup, but you just wanna make sure you get them good and coated. I'm gonna throw some more Italian in there, and definitely more garlic. And then I'm probably gonna add just a touch of black pepper this time to give them a little extra flavor. Let me set that there, and I'll zhuzh them around, and I'll add the rest of that. So all that you're gonna do is coat them really well. And these are gonna go, I've already preheated my oven to 375 degrees. These are gonna go on a parchment lined sheet, pan, whatever you wanna call it, cookie sheet, whatever you've got, guys. And then they're gonna go in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, but you wanna watch them. You don't want them to get too done, but you definitely want them to dry completely out. So if you have to lower the temperature just a little bit to get them to the crispness that you like or that your family likes, then you can lower the temperature and keep them in there a little longer. I tend to flip mine about halfway through, and they're delicious. That way he can have croutons on his salad, he can have croutons in his tomato soup, and we don't have to worry about the sodium. All right, so I'm gonna go wash my hands really quick so that I can turn my camera around, and we'll get these dumped out. All right, everybody. Ketchup's still going right here. It's only got a few more minutes left. So we're gonna go ahead and dump our croutons out. And I'm just gonna use a spatula to kind of put them out in a single layer. Because there's no salt in the bread and there's no salt in the seasoning, they're certainly not going to taste like what you buy at the store. This is not Olive Garden croutons or Mrs. Cubison's croutons or anything like that, but if you get them good and crispy, they certainly do fit the bill. So I just want to make sure that there's none on top of each other, and I certainly have enough room to allow a little bit of space between them. My favorite ones are the ones that have outside crust on them like that. Oh my gosh, they get so crispy, and when you throw them in your tomato soup, they are fantastic. If you like other seasonings, like if you wanted yours a little bit spicy, I've made these before that weren't sodium free with some Parmesan cheese on them. They're just fantastic. So I do like to go ahead and scrape out all the little crumblies because I have a problem with the little crispies and how delicious they are on salads and soups. So, like I said, we're just gonna pop this in 375-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes, and our timer went off on the ketchup while we were waiting. So we're gonna go ahead and get that. Get those croutons in. We're gonna go ahead and get this ketchup into this bowl so we can use the immersion blender to finish it off. So I'm gonna take this spoon out and get a spatula so that we can dump this in here without ending up wearing it. What do you think? It smells amazing. Now again, I've never made this before. Oh, I'm wearing it. Oh wow. It smells amazing. It actually smells so good that my husband smelled it from his office upstairs. He has to work right now and he's like, "What are you cooking?" We've never made this before. I've always bought the Heinz no salt added ketchup for him, but because of, I don't know what, I don't know if it's the pandemic or demand or what, but I've been unable to get it for a long time now, and we've completely depleted my supply that I had in the pantry. So ketchup is essential for all kids, whether they're teenagers or not, so we're gonna make this. All right, so I'm gonna let this sit here for a second and go grab my emulsion blender. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. This is our emulsion blender. We've had this, oh gosh, I don't know how many years that we've had this, and we use it pretty much every week. My husband uses it to make his homemade balsamic vinegar dressing, and we just use it. I am going to do this without sound so that I don't hurt y'all's ears. Okay guys, that looks just about perfect. So all I'm gonna do now is take this emulsion blender out of here, and this just detaches. It's just a button. You have to push the button and then turn. You would think that I could do this, right? I'm gonna leave that up there for a quick second. Get this out, and then we're gonna get this into a what? You guessed it, a mason jar. All right, so this mason jar, I'm not sure that's big enough. But we're gonna go with it anyways. We're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna grab a quick, well, do I need a funnel? Y'all think I need a funnel? Oh, I'm nervous. Very, very nervous. I make such a mess with everything I do. So the recipe says to refrigerate this for at least 2 hours before you serve it. I'm thinking we're going to give it at least 24 hours. It is hot, to say the least. And I want to see if it kind of turns into more of a thick paste. Maybe I should have used more tomato paste. I'm not totally sure about that. However, I'm going to get it in the fridge. I gotta change the label on the front because right now the label says semi-sweet chocolate chips, and that's not true. But I'm gonna get this chilled in the fridge, and then we'll have it with maybe we'll try those homemade French fries this week. So that looks like about all I'm gonna be able to get into this jar. This is a 32-ounce jar, so when I'm trying to figure out the sodium content for it, this is 4 cups. So let me grab a smaller jar to put the rest in, even though there's really not. You think I could get it shoved in here? Let's see. I don't think I can. I think I'm pushing it. I always push it. What am I talking about? So if you don't have an emulsion blender, you can definitely do this in a regular blender. If you have a large capacity Ninja or NutriBullet that has a 32-ounce capacity, you might be able to get it in there. I'm really pushing it here, guys. I'm just a risk taker. Don't let me near your families and children. I take too many risks. Okay, so yeah, even I'm nervous now. So this is the homemade ketchup. The croutons are in the oven, and we're gonna move on to the next thing on the list. Guys, let's do a quick check-in. We got those homemade croutons made out of the leftover bread. They are smelling amazing, by the way. These things are later. This is later. I made one batch of these already for us, and I was thinking of making another batch just so I could show them in a separate video. Because I'm getting a lot of questions about these, especially since they're 0 points on Blue Weight Watchers. So I may do another batch of those and do them in a separate video, and then I just have to make my son's bread for today. So today, really all I have to do is make his bread, and I'm gonna get on that right now so that I can do some housework while the bread is rising. And I am not going to show the whole bread making process because I did that last week, but I am going to show the finished product to redeem myself from the ugliest top of bread I have ever made, so that you guys can see that I really can do it. I'm just kidding, but I will show you the finished product on that. So let's get at that bread. Okay guys, here it is. We're going into the bread machine at an angle, twist it to lock it, shut that lid, come up here, go to number 11, which is raw dough, hit start, and here we go. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right guys, the timer just went off. You can hear my bread machine going in the background, don't mind that. Let's check those croutons. Here's my little spatula where I flip them halfway through. Let's see what we've got. Oh, would you look at that? Look at that. So I'm just gonna check them. Oh, they are perfect. They are absolutely perfect. Got all these beautiful little crunchies right here. That'll be so delicious on the soup or the salad, whatever he decides to put them on. So I'm just gonna let these sit here and cool pretty much completely, like all the way down. That's a big one. I'm gonna let these cool down, and then we're gonna get them in an airtight container. You can do a Ziploc bag, whatever you want. I just happen to have a little container to put them in so that he knows which one is his. Because sometimes I do make croutons for everybody else if I've got like leftover hamburger buns or hot dog buns or anything like that. Any bread that you have left over, you can do this with. I'm just gonna let them cool. I'm gonna make a space here to put my bowl for my bread. When it comes out of the machine, I'm gonna get some oil in this bowl, and we're just gonna keep on trucking along. Here's my son's little croutons. They turned out perfectly. I've had a hard time keeping him and my middle son out of them. I just put them in this container that I've had from IKEA for, oh my gosh, probably 8 years. I put him in here, and that way he can just open the lid and pour out what he needs, and they keep safe in this for a good 2 to 3 weeks. All right guys, here it is, and this is my favorite part. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Blah. Awesome. Let's get this bread going in the oven. Alright guys, so for this segment of the video, as you can see, I've got bread sitting on the stove waiting to rise. So this will be the second rise for this bread, the one that happens right before it goes in the oven. So I thought I would take this opportunity to knock a few things off of my to-do list for the weekend. So I'm going to refill the cereal container and my canister that is for pancake mix. We typically go through a canister full of pancake mix every couple of weeks. And then I'm going to go ahead and pack up the egg frittatas that we got meal prepped for the week. That's going to be coming out in a video as a cook with me, and that'll come out the day after this one, so it'll go out on Tuesday, and it's a really good one, guys. Wonderful recipe, whether you're on Weight Watchers or not. Being able to meal prep and make those ahead are just fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and put away the remainder of the tomato paste from the ketchup, and I don't want to waste that. I'll use it in a recipe. And I'm going to go ahead and melt some butter that I can brush on the top of that bread after it rises. We have a refrigerator in our garage, and that's where I tend to keep all of our meal prep and all of our leftovers. So I just took the frittatas out there, came back, and I'm going to melt that butter down a little bit more. And then I'm going to fill the little candy dishes that I keep on the island. We love those individually wrapped Lifesavers wintergreen mints. Just love them. So I've been keeping those in the little candy dish, and everybody's breath smells fantastic. Anyways, so the butter's done. I'm going to go ahead and give my counters a really good wipe down, like move everything, wipe everything down, just because when you're working with flour and chopping things and all of that, stuff gets everywhere. Like I ended up having the red stuff from the ketchup on my utensils up there. I don't even know how it happens. I put those in the sink. But just giving everything a good wipe down, plus I filled a couple of canisters. I had to refill flour today. I had to refill the sugar today and the pancake mix. So there's always a little bit of that falls out and gets on things. So I'm just going to give it a really good wipe down and tidy up here in the kitchen before I get this bread ready to go into the oven. So another chore that I'm going to be able to get done today while the bread is baking is that I'm going to be able to get my downstairs living room dusted and vacuumed. Don't you just love the cameo appearances that my German Shepherd makes? Her name is Coco, and she is a hot mess. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and finish up in this room and move over to the living room, and if I can't do anything else, I can at least get it dusted, vacuumed, get the sectional dusted off, and clean the ceiling fan really quick. And all that'll leave for me downstairs then is that I need to vacuum my tile and mop my tile, and the whole downstairs area will be done. The dishwasher is running, and all I have to do now is finish up the living room and get the bread done, and then I actually get to quit for today. So I wanted to let you guys know that out of that really optimistic list that you saw me start this video with, I gave myself both Saturday and Sunday to get those things done, knowing full well that I had errands to run, and I also had movie night planned. So not only did I get to do that, but I also got to spend a little bit of time today with just my youngest, and he and I watched Rango for the, I don't know how many time, but he loves that movie, and I love to hear him laugh. So I was able to get everything on that list done with the exception of the oatmeal cream pies. I will be making that, like I said. And then I've got to make the refried beans and Spanish rice, and then the rice to put in the fridge for fried rice for Friday, but none of that has to happen until Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. I went ahead and pulled the pork chops out of the freezer for tomorrow. They're in the refrigerator thawing. They're going to be going into the slow cooker tomorrow for pork chops and gravy, and we are all set. So I wanted to thank you so much for sticking around till the end of this video and for spending your time with me. And I hope that you have found something, some little piece throughout this video that has given you a smile, or even made you think about trying something new, or maybe about just looking around your house and finding something that you have that you could make a better use of or use and find joy from that. I hope you've had an amazing weekend. I hope that you and your loved ones are well and you are safe, and that you are going to enjoy the long weekend. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Tomorrow is a day that we celebrate one of the greatest men that ever lived, and his impact on this country will never ever be forgotten. So I want to wish you all a happy week, I hope that you are motivated. I hope that you find the energy to do something, one cabinet, one wall, one anything. Clean out one little space to bless your home. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so this is what that first loaf of bread was supposed to look like. Can you guys just see how pretty and smooth? It's not necessarily supposed to be as jacked up as that first loaf that I made. So I'm gonna delicately put some melted butter on top of here so that I can get this puppy in the oven. It's got 5 minutes left to rise, but I think we're gonna go ahead and call it, just because I don't want it getting too far over the pan. I don't want it to flop and fall. I don't know if you guys can see, but it is 5:20 in the evening. I have just had so much fun today. No stress. I sort of just gave myself this reprieve because we're out of school tomorrow. There's no school here. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I have the day off as well. The boys are out of school and I have the day off, so whatever cleaning I don't get done today, I'm gonna get it done tomorrow, and that's perfectly okay. So make sure I get this other side over here really well and just get it nice and glistening on top. And we're gonna get this puppy into the oven, and that's it, guys. This is gonna go in for 25 minutes and it's gonna make delicious, yummy, perfect sodium-free bread from my sweet boy. All right, guys, here it is, all done. This is right before I went to bag it up. As you can tell by the clock behind it, it's 1:45 in the morning. I stayed up way too late. I got hooked into one of my shows, and my goodness, how time flies. So it is completely cool. I'm gonna go ahead and get this bagged up and put away so that my son has it for this week. I want to thank you again for sticking around to the very end of this rather long video and for motivating me to tackle the things that I need to get done this weekend to set us up for success for the week. Guys, if I didn't think about filming it, there probably are some things that I just wouldn't have gotten done this weekend. But because of you guys, not only did I get this done, I got the frittata video filmed, and that's going up tomorrow. And then next Tuesday, my Cook With Me video will be those oatmeal cream pies, and I will get those done. So you guys take care. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.